Alright, it's time for a good old-fashioned debunking video. I'm going to play you some footage of a woman explaining why she believes that as a woman she shouldn't have to pay for her half of dinner. This footage was shot by one of the channel's contributors, and when I first watched it, I thought that I must have misheard something because the arguments and the reasoning were so bizarre I had to play it back a few times. So when you watch this, listen carefully.
Why would you ask me on a date and then just like be expecting me to pay for everything?
Right.
Like we girls, we put like an hour of work in our makeup. Makeup is expensive. We have our periods. We have like so many other things to worry about. I feel like you should be paying for this dinner. I will offer to pay for my things, but if this is our first date and you don't pay for my dinner, I'm not going out with you again.
Right.
Because to me, that is like bad sign too. Like it's either like you don't have money or you're like one of those guys that are too selfish and they don't want to spend any money on the girl, and that's a problem too.
Okay, so just to recap, there were 5 different reasons that she offered for why women shouldn't have to pay for dinner on a date. Number 1, women had to spend an hour getting ready with makeup. Number 2, makeup is expensive. Number 3, women have periods. Number 4, women have so many other things to worry about. And number 5, if a man doesn't pay, it shows that he is selfish. Okay, let's address number 1. Women spend an hour getting all dressed up and putting on makeup. So nobody denies that women put in a lot of time and effort to getting ready for a date, but why does that necessarily mean that the man should have to pay for dinner? It's not like she's taking all this time to make herself look pretty as a favor to him. She's doing it for entirely selfish reasons. She's trying to look good so that she makes a good impression on him. Ultimately, it's for her benefit, not his. You could make the case that he'd actually be a lot better off if she didn't wear makeup, because then he's given the opportunity to see her in her natural appearance and make a better informed decision about whether or not he wants to pursue things with her further. So let's not pretend that women spend an hour getting ready, putting on makeup, as some favor to a man, and therefore the man should return the favor by paying for dinner. When she looks good, she does so for her own selfish benefit. Number 2, makeup is expensive. Basically, it's the same debunking arguments as before. Nobody is forcing you to wear makeup, and if you do so, you do it out of your own self-interest. It's not a favor to men, and you're not entitled to be reimbursed for the money you spent on makeup in the form of free dinners. That's not how it works. Number 3, women have their periods. This one's my favorite. I can see how the cost of makeup is somehow related to dinner. You know, it's a little bit iffy, but I can kind of track the logic there, at least a little bit. This one about the periods and their connection to dinner completely floors me. Let me do a tribute to South Park and Underpants Gnomes. True fans will understand. All right, so you've got step 1, women have periods. Step 2. Step 3, women should get free dinners. So what exactly happens in that middle step that connects these two together? If I had to guess the reasoning, I would guess that it goes something like this, that menstruation and periods involve a cost of tampons, maxi pads, what have you, that only women should bear. That's a cost that only women have to pay. And so to balance things out, there should be some cost that only men have to pay. But that's not how things work. Women pay for their own personal hygiene costs, and men pay for their own personal hygiene costs. That's what's actually fair. You pay for what you consume. It's just such bizarre reasoning. Can you imagine a situation where they're concluding a date and the man says, "Are you going to pay for your half of the dinner?" And she says, "No, I menstruated last week." Number 4, women have so many things to worry about. I think that this one was just a throwaway line from her. I'm not going to read too much into it. It doesn't make any sense at all. Men have plenty to worry about. Women don't have an exclusive monopoly on anxiety. And lastly, number 5, probably the one that's the most interesting. If a man doesn't pay, it's indicative of selfishness. I can understand the logic on this one a little bit, because ever since men figured out that women want to date successful men, men have been enhancing themselves and coming across and appearing as though they're more successful than they truly are. And in this game of bluff, women have developed a kind of natural suspicion of men to try and weed out the guys who can walk the walk as opposed to the people who are just bragging and it's all puffery. He might say that he's generous and successful and all of that, but what she wants to see is proof. And if he's picking up the tab for dinner, then that proves that he's really who he says he is. However, just because there's some logic and even some legitimacy to that particular argument, that doesn't mean that we can make the leap that says that whenever a woman is asking you to pay for dinner, that guarantees that it's because of this reason. Oftentimes, that might be a smokescreen or a bluff, and the true intention is that she just wants a free meal. She's just using you, or the date's not going well, so she doesn't want to invest anything into it. She wants you to bear the cost of the bad date. Or she just doesn't respect you and she feels entitled to use you for your resources while giving nothing back in return. Now, the question of whether or not you should pay for dinner is a really interesting one, but it's quite a big topic. I'm going to save that for a future video. So if you want to see that, make sure you subscribe to the channel so you're notified for when that video comes out.